traffic.
Oh, nice. That sounds nice.
Yeah.
It's about that time too on 5 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I lived in Houston when I was a little kid, man. Think I was like probably like 9 or so.
Okay.
We lived by the Washburn Tunnel.
I got you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
On the east.
yep, yep. It's
Yeah.
pretty rough over there, man, but it was cool. So
Yes, sir.
so what are you out doing today, man? Enjoying
Oh
some
man, just
sun?
it's definitely hot. It's been raining all week, so uh, feeling the heat now.
Hell yeah.
So yeah.
Them whiteouts gonna be feeling the heat from CJ this season, huh?
I hope so. Yeah. You
How
know,
long CJ been balling?
oh man, he's been playing since Little League, but he's always been on the offensive side of the ball. So the most impressive thing is for him to have this last year being his first year transitioning over to the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, Corey Warren was telling me about that because he ran wideout and cornerback in high school and then safety. But he said that the wideout position really helped him as far as his ball skills, as a defensive
Absolutely.
back.
Absolutely. I've always believed in playing on both sides of the ball. A lot of people don't know that I came to Oklahoma as a defensive back as well and got converted to a wide receiver.
I didn't know that. Yeah, nice. Yeah. And you were there 94 to 98, was it?
Yeah.
Nice. So did you go through two coaching changes or three?
Three. Gibbs, Snellenberg, and Blake.
So like, was there a big difference, like, as far as how the ship was ran between the three?
That was three totally different personalities there. So you had Gibbs that was a defensive minded coach, ball control. I think he was a great coach. He was one of the big reasons I came to Oklahoma.
Okay.
He was very successful against some of the Texas schools at the time that I came out. So I was very impressed with the program. I was disappointed that they had a short leash on them.
Yeah.
But you see what happened after you let them go. But yeah, and Snellenberg was just old school, behind, way behind his time. And Blake was a breath of fresh air. He was definitely a player's coach and a great recruiter, and he was a great man. So
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say those squads, man. Every single season, man, there was NFL talent from top to bottom, man. And it just it boggles my mind how like, especially Blake. Like, I know he was a hell of a recruiter, and like he could get anybody to play to their highest level, but he just didn't know how to like delegate or something. I don't know. Like, it was weird because there was so much talent there, man.
As a head coach, you're only as good as your coordinators, and I think at that time, just the right pieces weren't in play. There was no cohesiveness within the coordination of the defense and offense side of the ball. So, but it was his first head coaching job. He was figuring it out.
You're right, and you're right. The more I think about it, it's like the support you have. You can't do everything on your own, man.
Absolutely,
pretty wild.
Absolutely.
So, who you played along with Jarrell Jackson?
Yeah, Jarrell Jackson. I was doing the James Allen, Gerald Moore days of them running the ball, Thunder and Lightning.
Boy, they were fun to watch.
Yeah, and just an impressive defensive players. I mean, you can name anybody from top to bottom that didn't play in the NFL on that ball. I saw you had talked to my boy Chase. I came in the same year Chase did.
Oh, nice, man. Nice. That dude was a beast. Beast.
So, I was in the same class as Martin Chase and Steven Alexander. So
Very nice, man.
We all came in at the same time.
And you went to school there in Houston. You went to school in Houston too, high school?
Yeah. I went to
Nice.
Booker T. Washington in Houston. So
Nice.
the ongoing joke in Oklahoma is which Booker T is the real Booker T? Is it Tulsa or the Houston? So
what is it, H-Town or T-Town?
I'm repping H-Town.
That's what's up. I gotta stay true, man.
Yeah.
Hey, Houston.
I got love for my boy Damon and all those guys come out of Booker T and Tulsa.
Damon, he gets forgetting about a lot, man.
Man, hey, one of the greatest I ever played with.
I was at the Nebraska game where he scored 3 late touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like getting blanked, and then that dude like rushed 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, man. Like it was badass. Like you could have. That's what I love about you guys, man. You guys like always fought your tail off, man. Like there was so much going against you guys, like the whole squad. You guys taught me a lot, man. Just the perseverance, man.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
For sure. Houston, they put out a lot of ball players too, man.
There was a lot of Houston guys that played for Oklahoma. It was a hot recruiting bed for OU at that time. But in the '90s, you had Big Sid Jones that went to play for the New York Giants. You had
Anthony Fogle was there.
Anthony Fogle. You had Terrence Brown. You had Corey Warren. You had Albert Hall. You had
was that where Joel Brewer? No, Brewer's from Lawton Icon.
Yeah, but you had Arthur Atkins, Robert Allen.
Nice.
You had I mean, the list goes on for H-Town. I mean, at the time that I was on the team, I know half the team was from Texas or Houston, so it wasn't nothing to catch a ride home. So
right, hell yeah. So speaking of OU, Texas, did you get recruited by Texas at all, or?
Texas A&M, everybody, Baylor. It was my top 2 schools of making a decision on where I was going to go was out of Baylor and Oklahoma.
Nice, man. Nice.
Yeah.
You got any good OU Texas memories, man?
Man, there was just a bunch of battles. I remember my first game was when James Brown and LaVelle Pinkney, those guys were playing with Texas and playing wide receiver against old Westbrook, at corner.
Nice.
Some of the top players that came out of Texas. So there was a bunch of years of battling with those guys, and some of those guys I played against in high school or whatever. So it was always a fun game, and it was an easy game to get up for. So.
Yeah. So you were there for the overtime game, first ever overtime game.
Yep.
That was pretty exciting.
James Allen. Oh yeah, man. I think that put us in our character, built us some character to really go moving forward in the season and kind of try to turn things around. But also just as men and brought the team closer together. It was a good time.
And that's another thing too, like especially the '90s, man, it was like a brotherhood because OU, Oklahoma, they were just coming off that suspension. And nobody wanted to go to OU, man. I mean, people wanted to go to OU because it's OU, but like the national view of them, they're just the villain or whatever.
Being from Texas, I can speak on the behalf of there was. Even with the suspension, there was always a mystique and a tradition and just an aura about playing for Oklahoma and just Oklahoma football, period. How big how big football is in Texas, but still, Oklahoma is always going to be a big time program to play for, even when you're a Texas boy. So it was a no brainer for me. And then also Clarence, he was an awesome recruiter for me. Clarence James was my position coach and also my recruiting coach coming out of high school. So
nice. And so you said you went from wide receiver to DB or DB to wide receiver, right?
I came in as a DB. I was one of the top DBs out of Texas at that year, and I came and I redshirted. You know, I don't know what I was actually thinking at the time. I was third on the depth chart with 2 deep and probably 4 to 5 NFL players in front of me. So
yeah, right.
you had Wendell Davis, Darius Johnson,
Oh yeah,
Larry Bush, Anthony Fogel. You know, that room was stacked. You know,
yeah.
so I had then you had Roy Williams and Ghana Joseph behind me. So it was a stacked room. So
Yeah.
it didn't take me long to figure out if I wanted to really play on this field, I need to go somewhere else.
Right. I haven't heard that name in a long time. Ghana Joseph. He was a beast too, man. I haven't heard that name in a long time. Are you there?
Hold on.
Oh, okay.
This thing is it's giving me problems here. Sorry about that.
Oh, you good? You good? So I don't know. What do you think about? I know it might be touchy or whatever, but like yesterday, the school shooting and stuff. Like, what's it gonna take to change that, man? Like, it's something's got to change, brother. Right?
Yeah, I'm not a big politics guy.
Me either.
But I think this, man, we got to do something a little more. We got to get a little more involved with mental health. It's unfortunate. We definitely need to do something about school safety. And until we start equipping these teachers and these kids, well, not the kids, but the staff and everybody with the proper tools, proper training to handle these kind of cases and these kind of emergencies, we're going to keep seeing this. It's very unfortunate, man. I'm a spiritual person, and I just really feel like we're living in revelations right now. So,
amen.
It's crazy.
It really is. And that's why I respect parents like you more, because you guys gave a shit about your kids, man. Like,
right.
There's so many parents out there that they see what their kids going through. They see it, but they don't care. It's disgusting, man. And it's like, like you said, man, give the parents, give the teachers proper training. When you give the parents the proper training and tools as well. That's what I'm going to school for, man. I'm going to halfway through my bachelor's in organizational leadership.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try and start up a couple centers, man, and it might take me about 10 years or so, but gonna get some of these kids off the streets and in the school, man. And knowledge is power. Knowledge is power.
You got to figure it out, bro. You got to get it done.
Yeah, for sure, man. So you got any offers from OU for CJ, or they just did you just?
I think right now they're still in the evaluation stage. I've spoken to the staff about him, but mostly the focus right now is them doing their due diligence on evaluating him. My stance on the whole recruiting process is, I'm gonna bleed OU through and through, no matter what, and I support the decisions that Coach Venables is going to make with recruiting. Just so happened my son is one of the top recruits in Texas right now. So if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, I still wish my school well.
All right.
Yeah.
I like what Venables is doing with his commitment thing. Like, take all your visits before you come here, or make a commitment to me, because you need to be all in, or
right.
Like, go on.
Absolutely. absolutely.
And that
Yeah, I like that approach, especially with the whole transfer portal options and things that are available. I mean, a lot of people are a little upset about the process and what it does for high school recruiting. But on the same hand, there's some abilities for an athlete now that we didn't have when we played. Just think about how many kids would have stayed, or how many of my teammates would have stayed if they had that option to go somewhere and play the next year.
Yeah.
So with all the turmoil and all the coaching changes and everything that we played under. So when you put that in perspective, you gotta think about the school as well as the athlete on, hey, what's best for the program, but what's also best for that career and that future of that kid as well. So it's a 50-50 across the board. Hey, it works in the benefit of both sides. So I'm going through it, like I said, as a parent, and going through recruiting with my son and understanding that, hey, we have so many offers on the table, but as the later in the game and guys are trying to figure out which direction they're going to go and which kids are going to come and which kids are not, and then taking in consideration how the transfer portal is going to look at the end of the fall semester. These high school kids got to make quicker decisions. That's why you're seeing some of these official visits during the summertime and during the spring versus, fall, which was the traditional time for us to go when I was being recruited, because we get to go watch a game, go talk to the coaching staff, kind of see exactly how they work, how everything goes. But the game has changed, rules have changed, and the transfer portal has totally changed the landscape of football recruiting on the high school level. So
what do you think about that, the NIL? Do you think it's going to make its way into the high school ranks, or has it?
Absolutely, yeah. It's already making its impact on these kids, and it's already making its impact on recruiting as well. And you can see all the turmoil and all the mess that Saban has gotten into over the past week. But what you gotta do, man, is just put some guidelines and structure to anything that you put out there. You got to remember that you're putting whatever level of money into these guys' hands, and these are 17, 18, 19-year-old kids. These kids are coming in younger as well, because they're coming in spring semester before their freshman year now, so they're coming in younger and younger. So the maturity level is what you have to worry about, and the financial literacy that they have of handling and managing that kind of responsibility. A lot of these kids are inner city kids. They didn't have any money. Now all of a sudden you're throwing some money in their pocket, so you're going to run into the same things that some of these rookies are having in the NFL. So
no, so true, man. So true. Financial literacy, like you said, that's a big deal. And I don't know if the NCAA has like any courses or programs within the universities that work with financial literacy, but they need to address that as well, I believe.
Right.
Like you said, they just can't throw 100 G's at a kid from, South, and just some inner city kid, and not expect him to blow it and not have football on his mind. And I don't know what with that being said,
and you got to worry about the people that know that he has access to that kind of money.
Boom, that's it right there.
It's not always the person with the money; it's the person around the people.
Just sucking you dry
around him. Who he surrounds himself. Who is he? Surrounding in the company. They make bad decisions, and one bad decision can ruin a career.
Yeah, I was listening to Eric Thomas. I don't know if you ever heard him, but he's a motivational speaker.
Yeah.
And he has this one called the To Go Plate. And he's talking about, like, if you why hang out if you're trying to go catch fish? Why hang out with people that don't know how to catch fish?
Right.
Like, if you don't know how to catch fish, go and find somebody that does and say, hey, I don't know how to fish, but can I carry something for you? Or like, learn from them. That's what it's about, is growing, man. It's pretty cool, man.
Absolutely.
For sure. You know, and like with that being said, like these kids, they have to have a stronger mind almost now because they got all the financials from the NIL, the different
Right.
coaches from different colleges coming at them for the transfer portal, you know, and then they got their academics on top of that. And I mean, it's just
Right.
you got to be locked in to be at the top now, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, man. I'm glad to be in the position that I'm in to just really focus on being CJ's dad and not have to worry about continuously training him and coaching him. He's at a great school where he has some great coaches. Corey Warren trains and coaches him
Nice.
with the KB3
Mhm.
program that he's a part of, and the national 7-on-17 that he participates with. Then he has his trainers and everything. So I've taken all that responsibility off my plate to really just focus on being a dad and a coach of life instead of sports. So I get to just lay back and just really focus in on concentrating on books, school, making good decisions, taking care of his body, and just managing girls.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother beast with these
Yeah, it
kids.
is.
So just focusing on life, man. So you can just imagine the dads that have to coach,
Mm.
go behind, some of the coaches that don't know what the hell they're talking about or doing,
Yeah.
and then training and then turn around and try to be a dad at home. So sometimes it's just hard to separate the two. So I'm just grateful to be in a position where I can just be a dad.
That's a beautiful thing, my man. Beautiful thing. We need the America, the world shit as this whole place needs more men like that, man. It's just
Yeah.
there's a lot of men out there that are letting a lot of children down, man. It sucks. Bad,
Well,
man.
I think we're losing the fabric of a village raising a kid. And, we're in a society and we're in a culture now where it's frowned upon to correct a kid, even though it's not your kid no more.
Yeah.
Don't say anything to my kid. Don't do this to my kid. Uh, I'm always teaching my kids, respect the elders, and carry yourself a certain kind of way. And if someone tells you to do something, you know, right from wrong. As long as it's something is right, let's be respectful and follow those guidelines. So I just
That's
think we've kind of taken that away from society and gotten into empowering our kids to not listen or say or do anything when someone's correcting them. So
yeah, the empowerment right there, man. Like I'm all about empowerment, dude, but when it's like the exact opposite of empowerment, like to empower to me is to make yourself feel great so you can be great.
yeah,
Not feel great to be a dick or whatever. You know what I mean? Like
right,
just like my pop always told me, courtesy is a given and respect is earned. Like it's really not that hard to be courteous to somebody that you don't know. I mean,
right.
first, they've never done anything to you, so why not say please, excuse me, thank you? I mean, it's simple, man. There's so much hate in this world, and it shouldn't be that way.
Absolutely.
It's
It's
crazy.
sad.
It's so sad, man. So sad. Crazy. But so I'm probably gonna get on out of here, but I like to do a who, a what, and a why before I go.
All right.
So for the who, so since you were a wide out, we'll go. Who would you go against from 10 yards out, best out of five, for make it into the end zone, 1-on-1, 10
Who
yards
would I
out.
go against?
Yeah, like DB when you were playing what and you're playing wide out.
I'll tell you what, man. You know, I saw Darius Johnson, quite a bit And Wendell Davis was probably one of the most physical corners I've played with. And so those two guys just pop up in mind. Fogel was a technician. His skill set was real nice. But man, yeah, those guys, Darius Johnson, Super Bowl champ, you know, his speed alone, he could take some chances and gamble just because of his speed alone. So it was hard to kind of set him up and put him in bad positions because his recovery was amazing.
So he had nice closing speed. I didn't guess I realized how fast Wendell Davis was, man.
Yeah, well, DJ, Darius was on the track team along with Mike Thompson. They were part of that 4x1.
Oh yeah.
Back in the day. So you had some speed on that football team.
But yeah, and those linebackers from back then too, B-Sim, Travion Smith, and Tyrell Peters.
So Tyrell Peters, Travion Smith, hands down, was probably one of the best athletes on the team in my era. As a 6'3", 6'4" linebacker that could run a 4.4. And a lot of times people don't realize that he ran his 40 with his warm-ups on and walked out the damn field. He was like, okay, it's done. There's nothing else to talk about here.
Oh yeah, that's what Dale Allen told me that, dude.
hey, he came in. That was another one. So just think about that class: Martin Chase, Stephen Alexander, Travion Smith. Dale and I were part of that class. It was a solid class. Terry White.
Oh yeah.
So it was crazy. It was crazy.
Nice, man. So and then for the what, we'll go. What is your definition of success?
For me, to be successful is to be in the position of influence.
Nice.
It's some people measure success by money, but I would like to look at it as influence, because you might not have all the money, but the way you carry yourself and the impact that you make on people's lives is the influence. And I think from a spiritual standpoint, if we are in position to influence people to grow closer to Christ, live a much better life, walk as straight as you possibly can, and be as impactful to the youth as you possibly can be. That I think that's what success looks like for me.
Nice. I like it, man. I like it a lot. Like you said, we're talking about, you said getting away from the village, raising one or whatever. In my opinion, that's what God's kingdom, that's his vision of a kingdom, is everybody coming together and just loving each other, man. But I like that, man. The influence, that's good stuff. Right. And so for the why the University of Oklahoma? Why?
So you got to remember, in '93, they ran the table on a lot of these Texas schools that were in the at the time Big 8, right? So I was on the fence between A&M, Baylor, and Oklahoma. Then I had the thought process of, I don't want to be that close to home. So that kind of ruled out A&M being right up the street. My mom would have been up there every weekend, making sure
right.
I was doing what I was supposed to do. I just I wanted some distance. I wanted to kind of get out on my own and do my own thing. But it was a toss up between Baylor and Oklahoma. And so to be perfectly honest, my visit to Oklahoma was amazing. Even though it was a big weekend for something Greek going on at the time. So I really thought that many black people went to OU. So it was coming from an all black high school, you know, I was like, oh yeah, this is for my speed right here. Okay, cool. You know, so I end up coming to Oklahoma, and my first week was.
Oh, you got muted. You got muted. You got muted. Oh, there you go. What was that last part?
Yeah, I just said coming up my freshman year, and I was like, what the hell?
Yeah. That's good stuff, man, right there. That's good stuff. I was gonna actually ask you, Corey Warren was telling me about in practice he'd have to practice crack backing on like Joe Bowden. Did you ever have to practice crack backing on Tyrell Peters or anybody like that?
So I would during that time, I don't know how I got hung up on cracking on B Simp, Mario Freeman and those guys. And for some odd reason, I could never catch them slipping. They would always see me. So you can just imagine me coming in full speed, and once I see those eyeballs, I know I screwed up. So, but yeah, it was always a business decision with those guys, you know. I played back in the day where we had to sit back on the back of the golf cart until we felt better, and then got back in there. So,
right,
you know, it wasn't no concussion protocol. So
get them smelling salts out.
Exactly.
Those are pretty rough, huh? Those smelling salts.
Yeah, man. That'll if that doesn't wake you up, you're out of there.
That's crazy, man. Well, can I get a Boomer Sooner on my way out the door?
Boomer Sooner, baby. All day. Right.
All day, every day.
All day, every day. Boomer Sooner, baby.
Nice. Hopefully CJ be throwing them horns down soon.
Hey, man, I would be proud. I would be proud to have him, you know, carry on the legacy. But man, hey, it's in God's hands.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna be awesome, man. Maybe I can make it down to a game maybe sometime this upcoming season with my wife, man. She wants to check out H-Town, so.
Well, come on down, man. We'll show you some hospitality, man. But I appreciate you. I appreciate you following my son and going through the journey with him. So, man, I really appreciate that, bro.
Hell yeah, Chris. We'll talk to you later, man.
Have a good one.
All right, peace.